this working? This is the first time I've ever done a selfie stick before. I want to discuss some information that apparently is now being picked up and is circulating. There was a comment made by a fellow Democratic Party candidate in the Texas U.S. Senate race that was specifically targeting me. When it happened, I thought it was probably a clumsy, sort of insecure comment that was made, and I let it go. If you look at my website, I started this campaign on the belief that as Democrats, we could work together and we could speak with one voice on issues that we all agree on. And so my attitude has been one of collaboration wherever possible. I just found out that there's actually some comments that are now going around about the comment that was made. I'm not getting any traction with any of the media outlets that thought to report on her comments but failed to mention the clear targeting of Annie Garcia with any Garcia. First of all, this is something that I would expect, frankly, from not a fellow Democrat. It's disappointing, but again, it wasn't anything that I couldn't get past. But then I started thinking about it, honestly, and if you peel the onion a little bit, there's a lot going on there, and I think it's all worth talking about, so I'm going to talk about it. She, in a nutshell, said that I wasn't Mexican enough to fight for Texans because of my lacking lineage. My name is Annie Garcia. That's my name. That's my name because I met an amazing man who is a naturalized U.S. citizen, and his father was a Cuban refugee who worked 2 years in one of Fidel Castro's work camps in order for him to come to America and start his American dream and move down to Sugar Land. That's why I get to call myself Annie Garcia. Now, the fact that I speak Spanish should, I would think, be a positive thing. I love languages. Das ist nicht nur die einzige Sprache, das ich kann. And so the fact that somehow speaking Spanish and having a Spanish surname disqualifies me from having the proper lineage is racist. It's racist. If I were to question her lineage because of Tsinsun and say that it wasn't American enough or German enough, people would be rightly outraged, and they should be rightly outraged, because that is not who I am and it's not who we are. And basically what she was saying to everybody south of Mexico was that they also were not Latino enough to have the proper heritage, I guess, to take on John Cornyn. I honestly think it's more of a slight to a lot more people than just a Garcia. And finally, I just want to say that this is not the America that I believe that we are. It's not the Texas that I believe we are. This is not the first time that Christina has tried to disqualify other candidates in this race because they weren't sufficiently Mexican or Latino. She has gone on to Young Turks program and said that she's the only bilingual person in this race. I initially was offended because I thought, well, you know, she's targeting me again. But then I realized I'm trilingual. She wasn't talking about me. She was talking about Seema Hernandez. Seema, who is the only other person who's run for U.S. Senate, who got 24% of the Democratic primary vote against a very significant opponent, Beto, and who did it with less than $7,000, I believe. So I think Seema deserves all of our respect and should not be somehow diminished. Look, I am all about giving people the benefit of the doubt. I would not have spoken about this if it hadn't gotten traction and if my literal name wasn't being mentioned with it. My lineage is just fine. And in fact, it's so fine that I am going to be walking 30 miles a day for 14 days in protest to John Cornyn. And I ask that you go to my website and register early for the walk. You can do it virtually or you can do it in real time with me walking across the state of Texas, because this isn't my candidacy. This isn't my race. It is ours. And I want to use my platform as a means to give you a voice, to raise your voice, and for us to make real change. Check me out at runannierun.com, or if that's too hard to remember, try any variation of Cornyn sucking. John Cornyn sucks, why Cornyn sucks, Any of them will take you right back to runannierun.com. Thank you.